Good day, guys. Thanks for visiting Richard's Corner. My name is Richard, and this is a haul reveal with items found from my friends over at the Value Village here in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. Two small packages, but lots of content, and I'm hoping that I'm going to be walking away quite ahead with this particular haul. Each of these bundles cost a whole $2.99 each, plus taxes before any kind of discount. So let's see what we got. I'm going to be opening them up, laying it all out, and hopefully we got something pretty interesting here. I was very drawn to this package in particular because it has an old school transformer right there. And then this one really intrigued me because it had a really cool Raphael TMNT character there. So let's open these up and let's see what this haul reveal shows us today. So as you can see here, the haul has a bunch of very miscellaneous and varied items. These I'm really curious about though, these monsters here, made by LTMGA with these little numbers on them. There's a 2 on the bottom of that one, there's a 3 on the bottom of that one, and various other ones, but they're pretty cool. And then I've got an old candy case here, and I've got an awesome miniature Power Ranger there, and then we've got, of course, the Galactic Hero Sunstreaker there, and then we've got a few more Happy Meal toys here, along with this generic soldier. So why don't we get to some of the Happy Meal toys right away, and then we'll go across and reveal what I found out about these particular guys today. So after doing some research with the haul today, these ones are probably going to go back into the donation bin. This is just basically a one of those generic soldiers, pretty nice recon soldier, I think. Maybe our youngest here will probably enjoy it. I'm going to run it by him before I donate it because I think it might make a good addition to his army collection, but probably not for my own. And this guy does don the Autobot symbol, and I tried to transform him as best I could, but despite all the Googling I could do, I could not identify him. And I'm not even sure if he's complete because I can't find his face in the transformation. It's kind of weird. But if you happen to know who this is, please leave a comment below. But it's not in bad condition, but I mean, for lack of I don't think this is his face because then the Autobot symbol would be turned around the proper way. So however this transforms, it may or may not be a complete transformer, and may also have to go back to donations if no one else wants it here. So that's okay though. So this unusual guy is actually a Decepticon named Brimstone, and he appears to be one of those more sought-after Transformers, although it's a very unusual one. It's nothing like a Generation 1 Transformer. eBay lists him as a very sought-after figure. Loose, it's not worth very much, maybe $4 or $5, but in package, I found listings online here for like some of them are $100. I couldn't believe it. I'm going, it's like, really? So it's a fairly sought after figure, between $88 to $130 in package. It's like, wow, that's kind of ridiculous. It's a very unusual looking transformer for my own personal taste, but to find a somewhat sought after, it would be sought after otherwise if it was in package. I think it's kind of a neat find then. So kind of unusual detailing, very, very sparse as far as his body is concerned, but it does transform into a fairly cool bike otherwise. So not a bad find within the haul today. Like I said, it's $2.99 per package, and it averaged to be about 5 characters in each package. So I paid a whole 60 cents for this guy. So I think I did pretty well despite it being out of package. Now this big Transformers figure, this is Optimus Prime based on the Michael Bay movies. This is a 2010 McDonald's toy. Loose, it goes for about $8 or $9 online and on eBay. Anyway, it did have a working laser, which was basically a light up. And you know how excited I get whenever I see old toys that still light up, but apparently this one has drained its battery, and there is no easy way to change the battery, unfortunately, in this guy. So it'll have to remain as is. It needs a little bit of cleaning up, but in the light you can sort of see the amount of detail that is molded into this figure. Limited articulation just in the arms and in the legs here. Very posable though, it stands very well as a figure by itself, and will be a good addition to the Transformers aspect of my collection here for sure. Look at that. Now this little guy, it doesn't really drive me crazy. It doesn't really speak to me. This is one of the mini Bakugans, which is basically sort of a collectible. It's based on a cartoon, first of all, and an animated cartoon, very much like Pokemon. And basically, the characters in Bakugan battle one another with their monsters that transform into little balls that they carry around with them, and then they transform into these gigantic monsters that fight each other, which is kind of cool in the concept. But the toys, for me personally, don't really speak to me because they are spheres. Their engineering doesn't really lend themselves to make very menacing kind of characters. Now, if my identification is correct, I believe this is Hades, the Bakugan named Hades, and there's many versions of him, and he looks more like a dragon in some of them, but in this one he's not too menacing at all. He doesn't have feet. He has these panels that sort of walk out. There's sort of like a tail, so I guess it sort of stands like that. But it's just an unusual looking figure. It doesn't really speak to me on any level. This Bakugan is probably going to have to go back to donations as well because it just doesn't really resemble anything to me. I guess I have to watch the cartoon to really appreciate it more. But that being said, I mean, like as a figure by itself, I mean, it just doesn't speak to me, unfortunately. Now this guy is a Ben 10 figure. I wanted to make sure that this was not a McDonald's figure. It's actually a retail packaged carded figure, and his name is Nanomech from Ben 10, Alien Force. It doesn't look like a very valuable figure. It's plastic. It's got decent articulation though in the elbows and shoulders, a little bit in the head. The wings are fixed. His legs have limited articulation in the hip there as well as the knee. I love the detailing in him. As you can see in the light, it's very nicely detailed. Really well done figure, even though it's got a minimalistic kind of paint scheme. It's just gray and green there. However, in package, this is another one of those $100 figures. I mean, I couldn't believe that in package, some people are selling it for $120 to $130, including shipping, which is crazy. Even the loose figure by itself is $10 before shipping and over $30 after shipping, which is just insane. So a really lucky find. Like I said, I mean, I'm going out finding these figures in a $2.99 package. It works out to be maybe 50 cents a figure for the ones that I'm keeping, and so way ahead as far as value. Again, I don't really worry about value. I'm not interested in flipping these, but I mean, that's why I do my thrifty hunting, because I did just spend about 50 cents for this guy, and I would have had to spend over $100 online sometimes if I wanted to find something like this for my collection. I am on the hunt for more Ben 10 figures because of this, not because of value, but just because of the look. I mean, they're just such interesting figures to look at, and really, really will make a nice Ben 10 display for me, so that's pretty awesome. Now, this little guy, it really resembles an Imaginext character for the Power Rangers. However, this is actually a molded static figure, and it was actually originally made by Bandai back in 2010 and re-released in blind bags called the Mini Battle Ready figures in 2014. So this is actually the 2009 version, so it's probably part of a Mighty Morphin Power Rangers playset, and this is just sort of separated from his original playset, obviously. So very limited articulation, just the one arm, putting the sword in guard stance versus ready stance there. So this is one of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers versus the other iterations of Power Rangers that came after that. I love his stance. I think it's really, really cool. I love his sword, his battle ready sword there. Even though it doesn't have much articulation by itself as a display figure, it's going to be very cool. A little bit scuffing on the sword and on his boot here and knuckle, which is easily repairable if I want to sort of touch it up. But as you can see in the light there, very, very nice figure. As far as online value is concerned, I could not find this figure by itself on eBay. I was finding some similar Bandai figures that were released around the same era. The blind bags themselves were going for between $5 to $10 plus shipping. If I wanted to estimate, maybe this was maybe about an $8 figure, maybe. But again, like I said, I probably walked away paying a whole 50 cents for this guy after you average out what I paid. So not a bad find at all. Now, this Raphael is another McDonald's Happy Meal toy. It's got some punching action. If you just put your finger on the back lever there, and so that's the only articulation that he's got. He's in fairly good condition. There were two sets made in 2016 for Happy Meal toys. This one is the less over-the-top ones. The other ones, there was a whole series of TMNT characters with all kinds of gear. I've also revealed something like that. Leonardo with the helicopter propeller, for example, and so forth. So this one was more of a straight-ahead Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles series of toys in 2016. The Raphael is actually going for about, well, depending on whether it's in package or not, $22 after shipping. Loose, I've seen listings here for about, well, still actually $12, $13 after shipping. So again, a 50-cent character, walking away ahead value-wise if I had to buy this outside of the thrift store, and still has its punching action. Hoo-ha, hoo-ha. Now this little guy really speaks to me. It's kind of a chase figure for me within this whole haul. This is Sunstreaker from the Robot Heroes Transformers series. Very similar to the Galactic Heroes and the DC and Marvel heroes, the little minifigures that I've been collecting here, like Bucky disguised as Captain America in the background here. So I'm really drawn to these just because they are kind of miniaturized versions of them, and this one speaks to me a lot because it's a Generation 1. So this particular Transformer doesn't transform, obviously. It's a molded figure with very limited articulation in the head and in the arms. The legs are static, but it stands very well as a figure. Whoops, not on my hand, but it stands very well as a figure on tabletop. This guy was paired up with Galvatron, which is the evolution of Megatron in the Transformers movie, and the sealed packages were about $12 to $15 retail. On eBay, I'm seeing sealed packages for $20 plus $30 shipping, so $50 packages. The loose figure by themselves, this is like maybe $6 or $8 before shipping, but again, a lot of people on eBay are charging $20 plus per shipping. You're going to pay about $30 online for this, which is ridiculous. So again, another 50-cent figure from my haul, looking really sharp. I love that. Even though it's a flat finish, it looks really, really sharp. I love the bright color scheme that Sunstreaker has. And even though it doesn't transform, it really does capture that little bit of an egotistical look that he's got. And I love that, that little bit of attitude that he's got in this figure. So pretty cool. Now this one struck me as very odd because it had this gum sticker on it, and it actually was still filled with gum. I emptied it out. This is a Two-Face Batman Forever candy package. So it was kind of gross because it was released in 1995, so I emptied out the candy immediately because that's really gross. But the bust is actually a really neat candy container. There's actually a lot of different candy containers that you can see for to fuel the inner geek. I mean, there's a lot of Nintendo candy, there's retro arcade candy, there's all kinds of things that are cleverly packaged. So back in 1995, this Batman Forever candy case was released in candy stores or retail stores and department stores. So this is Two-Face from the movie. You can see the Tommy Lee Jones likeness, and not a bad find. I mean, like, because it's kind of a bust style, and I've got a few busts already in the background, it's kind of cool to sort of add a villain to my collection here. Not, overly well done. I mean, like, it's a mass-produced, it's a candy case. It's not meant to be collectible, but I guess it's collectible-ish. But I think it captures Two-Face quite well, and still has that resemblance of Tommy Lee Jones in there. So not a bad find. Now these little guys are really unusual, and I had no idea what they were. They all have these really cool character designs. This one speaks to me a lot because it kind of looks like a six-legged dragon, really. It's kind of cool. But they had numbers on the bottom, and they're all made by the same company, and I wasn't sure what these were, and it took a little bit of hunting around before I found out that it was actually a Little Tikes Number Busters game. And basically the premise of the game is that every character has this random number on their foot, and they use the numbers to face off and try to knock each other out. So it's described on Amazon as fierce and fun prehistoric creature characters engaging in kids' imaginations with competitive gameplay, simple but exciting, and kids won't even know that they're actually learning. There are also a set of cards that go along with it. I'm not sure how the game mechanics work exactly, but obviously the person who donated these away, had the game, had a game set, and donated it back over to Value Village. So I think they're really cool. I think they don't have any articulation. They're all molded figures, but as figures go, they are really cool. We do have one more like mech robot kind of thing, which has a really cool cannon for a hand, very reminiscent of Mega Man there, getting the geek on there. But then we have some, interesting, hedgehog, werewolf kind of characters here, and something that resembles, a pterodactyl and a cross between a pterodactyl and a dragon there. We've got a giant squid, if I can pull it out over here. That's kind of cool, which is neat. And then I've got these a spiky kind of amphibian thing with a spear on its tongue, and then we've got this prehistoric looking shark fish thing. So they're nothing to be taken too seriously here as far as collectibles. On eBay, however, some people are trying to sell them for about $17, including shipping. Individual figures are being sold for about $2.50, but the shipping out is about 14 something for some of these listings. So about maybe $20 a figure really. And if I was trying to buy these online, so that works out to be 3, 6, 7, 8, so $160 in figures, which is mad. If you're trying to buy these individually, I would hope that the vendor would maybe give you a deal on shipping if you were buying multiples from them. But yeah, I think I walked away ahead here again, and I've got some very whimsical and very unusual collectibles, figures for my collection. So this is Richard from Richard's Corner signing off for this awesome haul reveal. A lot of research going into each of these so that we could give you some more information versus just sort of showing what I found. And I think it paid off. I think there's a lot of awesome online value here. If I was going to get this outside of a thrift store, it would have cost me a mint. And I paid a whole $6 for everything before any kind of discount and taxes, and I'm just so pleased. Really cool and cute, obscure figures here, and coupled with a lot of really cool, recognizable characters and a really awesome chase figure in the middle there. So really awesome finds. I think I walked away way ahead, and that just sort of drives me to hunt even more. So, but I do have a lot more to reveal, and I've got more to post in my overflow, so stay tuned for that. Again, it is Richard from Richard's Corner signing off for now. I wish you happy hunting and happy collecting. I hope that all of your thrifty finds, whether they're from my overflow marketplace or anywhere in the thrift store scene, I hope that your thrifty finds are equally awesome. Please hit like, please hit subscribe, stay in touch with me so you're staying up to date as to what is new and exciting here on Richard's Corner. Thanks again for visiting, guys, and we will see you next time.